Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It's me. That's right. I took a day off yesterday. I know. Shame, shame, shame on me. Don't do that. Don't do that. We want to see you, right? Right. I'm sorry. I apologize. Anyway, what I wanted to say first off is, did you guys see this here? Look at that. That's my good old buddy, my lap dog that I used to have. His name was Benson, and it was Sir Benson, actually, and he was a little toy schnauzer, all white. Grew up with my kids. It was the dog we had that I raised the kids with, and boy, he is a good dog. Sure miss him. But as you guys know, I got Cass, and Cass is the wonder dog. This last Sunday was great. I'm telling you what. Now, I'm about to show you some stuff about light, okay? That being said, you guys know that I showed you the thing to do to get heat, right? In that last video or video back or so, to get heat and light at the same time with these tea lights and this clay pot, right? With the clay dish, how to build this whole thing. Real cheap, doesn't cost you much, puts off about 200 degrees or so. Actually, it was a little more than 200 degrees, I believe, but it was pretty darn hot and worked pretty well for a pretty long time. So that was something. It didn't put off a brilliant light, but that's something I showed you guys. So in the interest of that and showing you how to do things and so forth, I'm going to talk about a few things. One, you'll see a various selection of, well, less than modern looking things that we have around our house, right? So, you know, we carry various candles and have them on little stands like this, and little cute red ones that smell funny, right? Or they probably smell good to some people. We also have things like these here, Carbide lanterns, and we'll come back to those in a minute. And the tools that it takes to keep from burning your house down. And, well, different types of candles and lamps. And I want to kind of go over them with you because these are things you can find at craft shows, hippie shows, flea markets, yard sales especially, thrift stores, antique stores, things like that. You don't want to just go to an antique store to look at the cool old stuff. You want to look at the cool old stuff that you go, dang, I can make that work. I can use that. Why? Because that's what our ancestors used to get through daily life. For them, that was a flashlight. For them, that was a stove. For them, that's how they communicated, right? Things like that. Be looking for them, because you know what? When it ain't here anymore, well, you can make something that does work in its stead. Okay, that being said, look, okay, we already know what candles are, and you should have those around the house. They not only produce heat, but light, but you got to be careful with them, right? Well, this here, my sister made for me, and look at that. That is a little clay dish that has a lip that comes back around like that, and some bent up, twisted copper wire, probably she got from some construction site, and a little piece of cotton, right? Well, that little piece of cotton just kind of sits down, that little curlicue there, holds it up, and you fill this up with like olive oil or vegetable oil or whatnot, and you put it in there and you kind of just fill it up, and then you can light this little piece of cotton, right? And that will be saturated with the oil and will sit and burn for quite a long time. And you have these things placed all about, well, it'll produce light so you don't trip and stumble, and it'll give off a little bit of heat. Now, the thing about this is it is open oil and an open flame, so you don't want to be bumping and moving it. Don't put it somewhere where you're going to knock it. That's kind of why I have it on a little silver dish. As well, found it at a yard sale or an estate sale or something like that. Always be going to those, because these things are handy, right? You can just put them in a bin for later, or you can just put them on the shelf for when you need it. Okay, now if you're going to have candles, you should have things like a candle snuffer, you know, like that, or like this, and, you know, or be a real man, and that's how you end up with blisters on the end of your fingers. Okay, I know. So you get yourself one of those. There's also one of these little candle wick cutters and snuffers as well for these kind of candles, right? Yeah, that's kind of handy. Found that. It's antique too at a yard sale, right? Those are handy things to have. Now, here we got something. It's not quite as antique, But they did have them back in the day, and what this is, as you can see, you put a candle down in there, and you just twist this little jobby here, and it raises it up and down, right? So as it burns down, you can crank this up some more, right? Pretty cool. I think that was neat. So that's one little device right there. We'll set that aside. And then there was, look, check this one out. Look at that. Now, that's not antique, I don't believe, but it's just a little thing. You put your candle in, and you can put a little tea candle in there or a big candle like this, and you're able to hold and walk around and not have the wax drip everywhere. You know, what doesn't stay up here and burn will run down into the cup. Pretty cool, right? Now, those are things that'll help you in a situation where the power goes out, right? Now, here's a neat one. These kind of candles, these are these little beeswax or, you know, looking things, probably not made by bees, I wouldn't assume, but they're probably just wax that makes it look like beeswax, but they come in sheets, right? And then you can just set them down with your kids. This is a good one for kids. You set them down, you put your wick down all the whole length, and then you just roll these up like that into a candle. That's a quick way to build a candle. Now, the other way is like this, where you have the wick and some melted wax, and you just dip it in and pull it out, let it cool, dip it in, pull it out, let it cool, right? That kind of thing. That one takes a little bit longer. This, you'll be able to keep the kids' attention and build a candle that works, and you can just trim it right there. Now, that's what I did with this one here. Now, this one's kind of got a special story. What this is, as you can see, right? This is an old, like maybe carpenters would use it inside their shop or mill, or more so like cave people, like miners and things like that, right? This is actually, and miners in the early days when they actually used candles, right? So you take your candle and you push on this little lever here of metal, and it opens up the hole, and you stick it in there, and now it holds the candle. This was something actually passed down from my great-great-grandpa to my great-grandpa to my dad, or to my grandpa to my dad, and now to me, and it means a whole lot to me. And what it is you can take this and just spike it into a piece of wood or into the wall of the cave, right? And just drive it in there and hold up the candle for light. Isn't that neat? Now, these in an antique store probably ain't gonna be cheap, but if you find them out in yard sales or estate sales, you can pick them up for a pretty good price. Or if you have a family member, well, let them know it's special to you, and someday you might be having it. But also the hook is so that you could take and hook it onto a ledge, and then this would rest, you know, kind of like that. You see that? Look at that. It rests just like that, hooked on a ledge. Isn't that neat? And still hold it away from it so it doesn't burn the place down. I thought that was pretty cool. I remember as a kid, I always liked this, more so because it was like a sword or a dagger, right? Right? But now I see the practicality in having it as a candle holder. And it's really pretty effective, and it's really pretty cool, because every time I use something old like this, if it's from the family, I think about all the days of me growing up and the kids and how it must have been touched and handled by everybody in my family, which is dear to me. Or if it's not something directly from my family, I still think about all the days that had been in other people's hands and the adventures that had been on, or just day-to-day work, because they didn't think they were adventures, but these days they are, you know, and what it took to make it. And just imagine all those things that happened in the past. What are the stories? If this had a mouth, what could it tell you? That's invaluable stuff. I'm telling you what, research this stuff. It's great. Okay. Now, that being said, oh, look here, we got this. This is a little burner from way back who knows when. And if you did something, you could just hook up right there a tube that has, you know, like gas coming from it. And it's got its little orifice. And then poof, you light it right like that, right? It's just really simple. Now, if you wanted to, you could put a reflective thing around this. Or you could even use it as burning for cooking, right? Make a stand to go around it. See, I'm always looking at stuff like this thinking, what could I use that for? It could be a flamethrower. Right? Yeah, all kinds of good stuff. So I don't recommend that. This isn't about flamethrowers or how to make them. YouTube. So let's get to these. Now, we got carbide lanterns. Now, I haven't restored these yet, but when I do and get a hold of some carbide, I'll show you if I can get these working. But essentially what it is you put carbide, you put calcium carbide, little rock chunks down in the bottom, and you fill up the top with water, and then you let it drip down with this little thing. And what happens is in here, it makes a chemical reaction and it burbles up, burble, burble, burble like this. And it causes gas pressure, which shoots out this little hole right there, right? And then you just light that with a match, and then it shoots out like a torch kind of. And then this, if it was polished up, which hopefully I can get it polished again. If not, I might have to coat that with something. And then it will produce a light. Now you see the little hook, that can slide in a helmet, right? Now the only thing you need to know about this is you kind of got to be careful with it and hold it, you know, carefully and stuff, because it is a flame coming out the end. But also this bottom gets hot from the chemical reaction, real hot, right? So that's something to think of. And they also made like bigger models or models for different purposes. Like this is made to hook onto a bicycle. It's from England, I think. That's what it said. I think it said this is, yeah. Well, on the bottom it said made in England. And this says, let's see, Powell Hammer, I think. Powell Hammer, something like that. And it's called the Revenge, or, yeah, Revenge. Brigham. Anyway, you people from the UK that are my friends, and you know I love you, I do. Tell me if you know or recognize any of those names, right? Because it does say it was made in England, which I think is really cool. And it goes on a bicycle, so it's all fancy like, and it has like a flip thing here so you can light it easier. And boy, there's a lot that went into this. I bet you rich people back in the day had this, but still the same thing. Just like the non-rich people version that work in the mines, this one, you just put, you know, calcium carbide in there, water in the top right there, and you just turn it, although it is fancier, but you turn that to the amount of water that goes and drips in, means more of a flame that comes out, and then you got light. Isn't that bitchin'? I think I can get this one working, and we might have to see it someday in a video. The other one, maybe, but those are things I've all found in yard sales and stuff, right? Estate sales and all that. Now, here's one last thing. You know I got to make something crafty and show you. So I got a ball jar, just a regular old, I don't remember what was in it, but it just has a plastic lid. So let's just take that plastic lid off. We don't need that. And let's get this here. What we got? We got a tea light right here, right? Got a tea light. Right like that. But we'll keep that out for right now. We got a tea light. Right? And then we've got some wire. Now, this is something you all should have. You should all have baling wire, right? You can get it in your concrete section at your Lowe's. Get yourself a spool. It costs you about $6 or something like that, but you can fix and do anything with this. I'll show you in another video that I make tools and repair things with baling wire. All kinds of things, right? And yes, I said make a tool. I'll show you. But for right now, I'm going to show you what I use it for. Because it's stiffer, but not too stiff like a coat hanger. Another good thing to keep. The old metal coat hangers. But for now, we got this. And we've got some tape. And we've got some reflective side out tin foil, right? So we're going to take a little piece of tape like this. Oh yeah, this one doesn't like to cut. I remember that. There we go. A little piece of tape like this, and we're going to wrap it around the side that says ball, because we don't want the lights to get in the way, or the letters or whatnot, right? And we're going to take another piece of tape here. All right, we'll fold this little thing under. Right, all right. Now, all I did was take and fold it up so it was a little stiff and shiny side out. Then I taped it to the jar. I'm doing this real fast for you, so it's not going to be super pretty. But you see how I got that? It looks like it's got Count Dracula on there, right? With the little lapels, right? So I got that. Then I'm going to take this, and I'm going to straighten it out a little bit more and get like kind of even lengths, right? Just like that. And then I'm going to wrap this around here. Now I'm doing this on the fly. I'm just thinking about it, right? That's what prepping's all about. And you're going to twist this, right? With it on the back side, okay? Now, get your pliers and kind of grab on and give her a couple twists. That'll get her nice and tight, because we like it nice and tight. All right? Now, for the not so tight part, you can just take and go like this for a little bit, of just to make it a little stronger, right? Look at that. Yeah, I'm just doing that with my hands because I'm strong like that. And you want to do this until you got enough that it makes kind of a handle, like on your coffee cup, right? And don't whack yourself in the face like I just did with that wire. That kind of sucks. Could probably put out an eye. Now, I don't quite have enough yet. I'll go a little bit more. I'm gonna need a little bit more. All right, there we go. I got her, right? So now I can just take this like this, push it up against that, and then just twist her on the front like that. Look at that. See what I'm making? And I'm gonna grab this with the pliers. I'm gonna give her a couple twists, not too many, just a couple, because you don't want to break the glass, because that does have pressure behind it, but enough to hold on, right? Now look what I done made, right? I done made a flashlight, right? Kind of like a candle flashlight. Look at that. Woo-wee! It's got reflective side in, so that light can get out like that, right? Now, you say, gosh darn, you got a lot of wire there. Yep. Most people don't know it, but even on your plain old pliers like this, it's got a little section that you can cut with. Right there go deep in there like that, and just cut that, right? Yeah, now you're good. Look at that. You've got yourself a flashlight. So now you can take, and let's see if I got my handy dandy lighter on me. Oh, I do. Look at that. I'm gonna light it up. Okay, got my tea light. Look at there. I got a light. Now, if it was dark out, this probably wouldn't put off a lot of light, but it put out some so that you can see, right? And I made it out of nothing. Some tin foil and a tea light, which you can get 100 of those for $4 or less, and an old jar that was sitting around. Pretty cool, huh? If you guys like this and found value in any of this, or have anything you want to know more, any other ideas, anything you want me to go deeper in, well, be sure to put it in the comment section. And put anything else in the comment section you want to talk about, because I do read them, as you know, and I answer as many as I can, and I'm always answering them every day. So be sure to do that. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. And be sure to share. Watch everybody's videos that you like all the way through and share. That support right there will help everybody keep doing the excellent content they are, and it will keep growing this community, which is really important, because the more good people we have in it, the better, right? Because we got some things to change in the future, but for right now, we just need to get prepared. So stay safe, stay secure, always be aware of your surroundings, and be prepared for anything that might come your way. Adios.